Madame Simone sat in her dimly lit parlor room, the soft glow of candlelight casting eerie shadows on the walls. The room was filled with the scent of old books and the faint aroma of lavender tea. Her long, soft fingers traced the elaborate cover of an old book titled The Magical Dark Kingdom. She adjusted her spectacles, the chain glinting in the candlelight, and opened the book to a well-worn page. Clearing her throat, she began to read aloud, her voice echoing softly through the room. The Enchanted Keys of Terror. As the words left her lips, the room seemed to grow colder, the flickering flames of the candles dancing more wildly. Madame Simone paused, sensing the darkness that lurked within the story she was about to unfold. For as long as anyone could remember, Kevin had always dreamed of visiting Disneyland for his birthday. This year, his parents finally made that dream come true after pulling double shifts at work. He was turning 13, becoming a young man, and as a special surprise, they arranged for him and his two best friends, Zoe and Ben, to spend the entire day at the park unsupervised. As soon as they arrived at the park, they roamed through Fantasyland, raced through Tomorrowland, and marveled at the parades and shops. It was a perfect day, the perfect birthday Kevin ever had. That was until they discovered the legend of the 5 magic keys. It all began when Kevin noticed a peculiar-looking booth near Snow White's castle, manned by an elderly cast member dressed in dark clothing, who seemed out of place. The booth had an old-fashioned sign in front of it that read, "Unlock the magic. Find the 5 keys," in big, bold, hand-painted red letters. Intrigued, Kevin approached the booth, followed closely by Zoe and Ben. The old man's eyes twinkled as he explained, "The 5 keys are hidden throughout the park. Find them all, and you'll receive the glass key of dreams." He leaned in closer, his voice dropping to a whisper. "But beware the 5th key. It is known as the nightmare key, for it unlocks a portal to a realm far darker than you can imagine." Kevin felt a chill run down his spine, but curiosity got the better of him. There was no way it could be anything too scary. This was Disneyland, after all, he thought. And with the map provided by the old man, they set off on their quest. Their adventure to find the 5 magic keys began innocently enough. The first key was hidden in plain sight at the base of Sleeping Beauty's castle. They followed the clues on their map, leading them to a decorative stone with a faint outline of a key. With a little effort, Kevin pried it loose, revealing a small, enchanted box underneath. Opening it, they found the first key and a golden ticket for a free pass on any ride. They quickly opted for Space Mountain, their exhilarated screams echoing through the dark. The second key was trickier, hidden in Adventureland. The map led them to a thick patch of jungle near the Jungle Cruise. After some searching, Ben spotted a vine-wrapped chest half buried under some foliage. Inside, they found the second key and a voucher for an extra scoop of ice cream at any vendor. They savored the cool treat in the midday heat, their excitement growing with each discovery. In Frontierland, the third key was hidden inside a hollowed-out log by the rivers of America. Zoe crawled inside to retrieve it, her small size working to their advantage. The box contained the third key and a pass for a front-row seat at the parade. They watched in awe as colorful floats and costumed characters paraded by, waving directly at them. The fourth key took them to Tomorrowland, where they followed a series of cryptic symbols to a hidden panel on the side of the Astro Orbiter. After pressing the right combination of buttons, a secret compartment popped open, revealing the 4th key. This box granted them exclusive access to the Haunted Mansion, where they experienced the ride with no other visitors, the eerie atmosphere heightening their sense of adventure. The 3 screamed with joy. As the sun soon began to set, they focused on finding the final key. "We must find it," Kevin told the others, "or else my birthday won't be complete." The map led them back to Fantasyland, to the base of Snow White's castle. They circled the castle looking for clues, when Kevin noticed a small hidden door partially obscured by ivy. With some effort, they managed to pry it open, revealing a steep, narrow staircase descending into darkness. They hesitated at the top, a sense of ominous fear washing over them, but Kevin's curiosity spurred him on. As they stood there, they noticed the darkened staircase was lit by flicking candlelight. "We got this," Kevin let out as he took the first step onto the staircase that seemed endless, winding deeper and deeper until they reached the bottom, where a grand iron door stood. Kevin inserted the previous 4 keys into the door, each one lighting up a series of ancient runes etched into the metal. Finally, the door creaked open, revealing the glass case containing the 5th key. All this time hidden deep within the labyrinthine passages beneath Snow White's castle, the 5th key was ensconced in a glass case. Kevin carefully lifted it, and the moment his fingers closed around it, a shiver went through the ground, as if there was something alive beneath the floor. The stone walls seemed to breathe, and a cold wind blew through the room suddenly. They hurried back up the staircase, eager to return to the surface, but the atmosphere around them had changed. The park, once filled with laughter and joy, now felt oppressive and eerie. With a mixture of excitement and trepidation, they returned to the old man. Back in the courtyard, the old man awaited them with a knowing smile. He took the key from Kevin and looked it over once carefully, then handed them the glass key of dreams, a beautiful crystal key that shimmered in the moonlight. "Use it wisely," he warned. But Kevin barely heard him, his thoughts racing with the promise of more magic. But the thrill of adventure overrode their caution, and they approached the castle once more, eager to see where this final key would lead. As they approached Snow White's castle once more, the key began to glow. The door to the castle swung open on its own, revealing a new, dark, winding staircase. "We have to see where it leads," Kevin said, his voice barely a whisper. Zoe and Ben exchanged nervous glances but followed him inside. The staircase seemed to go on forever, spiraling down into the bowels of the castle. At the bottom, they found another door. Only this one was a massive iron door, like none they had seen before. Kevin hesitated, then inserted the glass key into the lock while trying not to let his nerves show. The door creaked open, revealing a dark, mist-filled chamber. Kevin stepped through the door first, then nervously Zoe and Ben followed behind him. Abruptly, without warning, the door slammed shut behind them. Now in the flickering torchlight, they saw figures moving and emerging from the shadows, the 7 dwarfs. But these weren't the cheerful, friendly characters they knew from the fairy tale. These dwarfs had twisted, malevolent faces, their red and blackened eyes glowing with hunger. Sharp, jagged teeth glinted in the dim light as they advanced. Kevin, Zoe, and Ben huddled together, their hearts pounding as the dwarfs closed in. "Welcome to the underworld," one of them hissed, a sinister grin spreading across his face. "You've brought us the key. Now we bring you nightmares." Kevin and his friends backed away, but there was nowhere to go. The dwarfs closed in, their grotesque forms shifting and morphing into monstrous shapes. The chamber seemed to pulse with malevolence, the walls closing in as the air grew colder and thicker. Desperate, Kevin looked around for an escape. His eyes fell on the glass key still in the door. With a sudden burst of courage, he yanked it out and held it up. The key glowed brighter, and the dwarfs recoiled, hissing and swearing in fear. "Use it!" Zoe screamed. In a desperate bid for escape, Kevin held up the glass key and thrust the key towards the nearest dwarf, and a blinding light erupted from it. The dwarfs shrieked and writhed, their monstrous forms dissolving into shadows. The light grew stronger, filling the chamber and driving back the darkness. With a final, piercing scream, the dwarfs vanished, and the chamber was filled with a deafening silence. The iron door madly swung open again, and they stumbled out, gasping for breath. The chamber was filled with a blinding light, and the friends were thrust back into the courtyard, gasping for breath by an unknown force. The 3 friends sprawled out on the ground in the moonlit courtyard, the glass key now a dull, lifeless crystal. The old man gone, and the booth had vanished as if it had never been there. Kevin looked at his friends, their faces pale but determined. They had survived the nightmare key, but the memory of that dark, twisted realm would haunt them forever. From that day on, Kevin knew that Disneyland held more secrets than anyone could imagine. And some dreams, he realized, were better left hidden in darkness beneath Disneyland's magical facade. Happy 13th birthday, Kevin. Happy 13th birthday.